All right, Village, I am having a really hard time starting this video. I have started, stopped, deleted countless times because this is just such a charged topic right now. If you're in the United States, things are very divisive, very polarized, and it feels very heavy. At least that's what I'm feeling over these last few weeks after the presidential election and the results. And regardless of what side you fall on, my hope is that you can come to this video in as close to neutral a state as possible, because what I want to talk about is that cross section of immigration policy and child welfare. And if you've been here, Be the Village, you've been a viewer for a while, we talk about these hard topics. I don't really shy away from it, even though I know that there are strong opinions. My goal here is really to inspire action and be proactive about potentially what we can see from the child welfare system as a result of some of the policies that we expect to see in 2025. And if you're not ready to meet this from a neutral standpoint, save this video for later. Save it for when you're ready. I understand if that might take some time. So why do I think that this is gonna happen? Well, I'm not alone in thinking this. I'm definitely not an expert, but in 2016, under the administration that will be entering the White House in 2025, there was a huge spike in children being displaced and placed into foster care due to the increase in deportation. And again, regardless of where you stand on immigration policy, if you're involved in child welfare, you are most likely going to be impacted, especially if you are located in densely populated cities with higher populations, because there's more likely to be a higher immigrant population, as well as around the borders. And yes, predictive insights are projecting that we will see a similar impact in 2025 because of these policies as we saw in 2016. So my opinion is, let's learn from that and try to do better this time. I think most of us would agree that we want to keep families together. And so if that is possible, that is going to be the first goal, is keeping families together. Children and families from different cultures are not immune to the same trauma of displacement. Arguably, I'm pretty sure I've learned this in some training, they actually are coming in with even more complexities due to coming from an immigrant family. And so it can actually, can actually multiply the impact of the trauma caused by displacement. But I would be naive in assuming that we will be able to keep families together. It is complex when you have immigrant families who the adults are coming over, they're having children who are US citizens, and then the parents are deported back to their country of origin due to these policies. So before we go any further, this video is based on the assumption that there will be an increase in children placed in foster care that is going to impact the child welfare system. And the first thing I want to talk about with our role in this as foster caregivers, potential foster caregivers, the communities that support these families, the child welfare workers, we all could benefit from looking and reflecting on our own biases and really just being honest with where we are. Again, this is where you can reflect on what your views are on immigration policy, families who are, from different cultures and backgrounds, what your views are based on how someone has entered our country, and checking in with the bias that you're bringing to a situation is important. Caring for a child from an immigrant family comes with additional complexities. And even if you are well-intentioned, those biases can unintentionally harm the child and family. So ask yourself, do you hold any beliefs that might impact how you care for a child or how you approach their family? Are there cultural or linguistic differences that might make you feel uncomfortable or unprepared? And this is a moment to be honest with yourself. The same way that if you got a placement call for a child with higher medical needs, you would evaluate your ability to support that child and that family. View it from that lens. And if that reflection has brought about a feeling inside of you of like, ooh, I don't like that I have this, then take action and immerse yourself and be humble. Look to see how you can learn and just engage with training and workshops that are about cultural competency, and even find discussion groups or, ask your caseworker if there are ways that you can get involved and learn more. Really, honestly, just maybe listen to families, listen to immigrant families with an open mind. Bearing all of that in mind, if you are a current foster caregiver, you are licensed, you are ready to go, you have an open bed, you're accepting placement calls, especially once we get into the new year. A couple of things that you can do proactively is to communicate with your agency that you want to be considered if there are any immigrant families that are referred to their agency. This is where you can share with them that, hey, this is a cause that's important to me. I want to be an inclusive family. I've checked in with my biases. Here's what I have found. Really show them that you're willing to do the work. You're willing to be that safe space for that child and family. And I know in Ohio, there is a foster child Bill of Rights. These children have rights that they're coming into your home with, and they have a right to express themselves, practice their cultural beliefs. And so you can communicate and just reiterate that you are aware of that and that you are willing to do those things. And only have that conversation if you truly feel like you are willing and able to do that. Again, my assumption is that people and humans are good, that we mean well. Don't unintentionally harm a child or a family simply because you want to look like you can help, even though you wouldn't be able to. Also, for current foster caregivers, I'm not a big proponent of stocking up on items because I've done this before and it leads to a lot of unused resources. So what I do is I try to save away and then I personalize that shopping trip and getting items for children based on age, gender, culture, all of those things, their personal preference. But if you are a person who likes to have things stocked up, then consider stocking up on some culturally relevant items. Learn about some of the immigrant families and their cultures, who are in your community, because those are the families that you might be getting calls for if they're impacted. But another way that you can prepare without having to get resources like physical, tangible things is to learn about different cultures and work on your own emotional intelligence and your ability to connect with children and families from different cultures. And one of the main reasons that I am doing this video is because if we have an influx of children who are displaced due to immigration policy, and it will create that strain on the foster care, child welfare system. If you are in areas that are going to be more at risk for being impacted, and you want to do something, and you've been thinking about being a foster caregiver, this is the time to inquire, start your training, start the application and home study process. Start now so that you are ready and you will be one of those families that your agency can call. Again, these are for individuals who have been thinking about it, who maybe have been on the fence, but now you are inspired and ready to take action because you will create a safe and inclusive home. This is your time. The process of getting licensed can take months. For me, it took a little bit longer just because of the agency. They kind of dropped the ball. But even just your training could take like 4 months to get done. Every state is different. Some states are expediting the process so that you can go through the application and home study and then take the training. So that quickens the timeline up a little bit. But the sooner you start, the sooner you'll be ready. And for anyone who is involved in child welfare or not, this is a great time to expand your cultural knowledge and even build a support system. You don't have to be a foster caregiver to be a part of a support system for when we can inevitably see this impact. So in summary, regardless of where you stand on immigration policy, if you're involved in child welfare, this will impact you. So check in with yourself, reflect on where you are, where you want to be, how you want to respond, and hopefully together we can prepare. We can alleviate some of the stress from the caseworkers. Like as a caregiver, if I can make it easier for them to discern, oh, is this a family that's going to be willing and able to take in a child from a different diverse cultural background? I'm actually hoping to talk to my agency specifically and maybe even at the state level to see, are there different practices at the agency and county level that can be implemented in preparation so that, again, when a caseworker gets a call and they know that a family is about to be broken apart and the parents are going to be deported and the children are staying, they know, going down their list of available families, who is most likely to be able to support that child and family. Being a foster caregiver is truly a journey of learning and love, and we can start here, especially with what we're about to face. If you have any additional information or resources regarding this topic, preferably from a neutral standpoint, this is not a place where I want comments to be, very polarized. Really at the heart of this is children and families. But please drop any relevant resources into the chat, and that way we can learn and grow together. Thank you so much for sticking with me on this tougher topic. These are unprecedented times for all of us, and we're learning to navigate through it as best we can. And right now, this was one small action I knew I could do, is to bring light to this and to hopefully create some kind of positive impact as we prepare. And my commitment is that I really am going to look to see and continue how else I can make a difference. And I hope you do too. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time.